Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Softball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
And welcome to Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Another beautiful day for the Iowa Girls High School State Softball Championships. And we have two games coming your way from our championship field. It is the 1A title game with third-seeded AGWSR, the Cougars champions in 2015. That was their last time at state. Collins-Maxwell, their first season competing as Collins-Maxwell. They're setting the bar high here in year number one. Alongside Molly Parrott, I am Brad Wells. We welcome you into our coverage here on IPTV. And Molly, we've got just two upperclassmen starting for both of these squads. I want to know, how are the youth going to respond here in this championship atmosphere?
Well, the bright lights and the big stage of Fort Dodge, Iowa has not seemed to bother either of these youthful squads, so I don't expect too many jitters, although on the big stage it might amps up a little bit, so might be a few bobbles early on, but I think we can expect a really exciting game. All
right, let's get to know both of these teams a little bit more. Let's begin with AGWSR. As you see, they are unbeaten against 1A competition this season.
McKenna Kuiper, you can see there on the graphic, a freshman. First batter of the game yesterday in semifinal action, knocked one out of the park, her 10th of the year. Very potent on the bases as well. Taryn Barrick is a very good pitcher, strikes out a bunch. And as we turn to Collins-Maxwell, very good pitcher in the circle for them as well. Michaela Hogue, one of the best in Class A in the state. She has struck out 24 in the state tournament in just 2 games.
All right, we send it up for some Hall of Fame announcements by Jason Esslinger.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 2018 marks the 37th year that the greatest high school softball players in Iowa have been inducted into the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Softball Hall of Fame. Today, 4 more of the state's greats join 121 of their peers as this year's Hall of Fame inductees. Presenting Hall of Fame awards tonight is the Executive Director of the IGHSAU, Gene Berger. Now let's meet this year's class. Our first inductee is Tracey Langhurst. Tracey starred at Cedar Rapids, Washington and Cedar Rapids, Jefferson from 1979 to 1983. The pitcher compiled a 112-26 record and was a 3-time All-State selection. After playing her first 2 seasons at Cedar Rapids, Washington, she flourished in her 3 seasons at Cedar Rapids, Jefferson under coach Larry Niemeyer. After collecting 4th-team All-State honors her sophomore season, she led the state in victories with 38 in her junior campaign, earning 2nd-team All-State honors with 287 strikeouts and 340 innings of work. She earned 1st-team All-State honors in 1983 as a senior, posting an Iowa Best 44-4 record and an ERA of 0.51. Despite battling a torn muscle in her rib cage, along with back spasms, she pitched in all 4 games, helping the Jayhawks win the 1983 state championship, where she allowed just 3 earned runs in the tournament. Tracey went on to pitch at the University of Iowa from 1984 through 1987. Her career ERA of 1.31 ranks 8th lowest in Hawkeye history. Tracey is now a physician's assistant and works with her husband, James. The couple reside in the mountains of Northern California and have traveled together to Haiti on medical missions and are both volunteer coaches for local ASA and high school softball teams. Tracey and James have 2 grown sons. Welcome to the Iowa Softball Hall of Fame, the pitcher on Cedar Rapids Jefferson's first state championship softball team, Tracey Langhurst. No team in Iowa has dominated high school softball in the last 16 years more than Akron-Westfield. The Westerners have made 14 trips to the state softball tournament since the school's first appearance in 2003, winning 6 state crowns in that time. Today, the first player from the Westerner dynasty is inducted into the Hall of Fame. The second baseman was a 5-year starter for her dad, Todd, and played on 5 state qualifying teams from 2003 to 2007. 3 times she was selected to the all-tournament team, while Akron-Westfield won 2 state titles in 2005 and 2006. Her best season came as a junior when she batted .586 with 85 hits, 22 stolen bases, while earning elite all-state honors. She finished her Westerner career with single-season records for batting average, hits, and runs scored. Her talents led her to Briar Cliff, where she played 3 seasons. She was a 2-time All-Great Plains Athletic Conference second-team selection. Her junior season, she was a first-team All-Conference pick after hitting .431 with 28 runs scored, both team highs. In 117 plate appearances that season, she struck out just 2 times. She ended her softball career after 3 seasons to enter the University of Iowa Pharmacy Graduate Program in 2010. She received her doctorate of pharmacy in 2014. She and her husband Thomas, along with their 2 dogs, reside in Colorado Springs, where she works as a pharmacist at Walmart Pharmacy in Colorado Springs. Let's welcome her back to Rogers Park from Akron-Westfield, Hall of Famer Tana Colt Stewart. Today's 3rd inductee is Nicole Fisher. With her Hall of Famer twin sister Jamie pitching and Nicole catching, this sister act formed the best battery in Iowa high school softball from 2006 to 2010 at BCL-UW High School, winning 2 state Class 2A state championships in 2009 and 2010. Nicole was a 3-time first-team All-State selection for Coach Dave Lee and the Comets, and was a second-team Class 2A All-Stater as a freshman in 2007. Her finest season was her senior year in 2010, where she hit .448 with 5 home runs, 62 RBIs, and 31 stolen bases, while being named to the Class 2A All-Tournament team. She batted .431 for her career with 58 doubles, 15 triples, 29 home runs, and 248 RBIs. Nicole began her collegiate career at Kirkwood. After earning second-team All-Region as a freshman, she hit .417 with 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases, and earning NJCAA All-American honors. Her 2-year home run total of 36 remains the Kirkwood school record. She joined her sister at Northern Iowa in 2013, helping the Panthers reach the NCAA tournament her junior year, hitting 8 home runs while earning second-team All-Missouri Valley Conference. After graduating from Northern Iowa, she's been teaching for 4 years. She taught 1 year at Green Mountain Garwin and currently teaches 5th grade at Grinnell Newburgh Middle School, where she also coaches middle school track and field. She's in the 2nd year of her principalship program through Northern Iowa while working on her master's degree. She and her husband of 2 years, Colton, reside in Grinnell. Welcome to the Hall of Fame from BCL-UW, Nicole Fisher James. Tonight's final inductee becomes the first Wayne of Corydon player to join the Hall of Fame. Playing for the Falcons from 2006 to 2010, she finished her career with a record of 94 wins, 1,663 career strikeouts, 15 no-hitters, and 1 perfect game. She enjoyed her best season as a senior as she led Wayne to their first ever state tournament appearance. She collected a 27-4 record with an ERA of 0.34, striking out 385 batters in just 204 innings pitched. She also batted .563 that season with 10 home runs while walking 42 times. She helped Wayne finish second in Class 2A that year and was named to the 2A All-Tournament team and pitched a perfect game in the Class 2A quarterfinals. She went on to pitch at the University of Wisconsin and became one of the most decorated pitchers in Badger history. She was Wisconsin's #1 pitcher all 4 seasons and earned all Big Ten honors twice. As a junior, she compiled a 27-7 record with a 1.82 ERA, with 7 shutouts and 172 strikeouts. She was named the MVP of the 2013 Big Ten tournament as Wisconsin reached the NCAA tournament. She finished her Wisconsin career with a record of 86-43, with 93 complete games, 23 shutouts, and 557 career strikeouts. Her .666 win percentage ranks first in school history, while she ranks second in school history in wins, strikeouts, shutouts, and innings pitched. After graduating in 2014, she returned to her hometown in Corden and started full circle fast pitch, giving pitching lessons while conducting pitching camps throughout the Midwest. She and her husband, Jace Allen, are expecting their first child at the end of August. Welcome to the Hall of Fame from Wayne of Corden, Cassandra Dara Allen. Once again, congratulations to the IGHSAU Softball Hall of Fame class of 2018. From Cedar Rapids Jefferson, Tracey Langhurst. From Akron Westfield, Tana Colt. From BCL UW, Nicole Fisher. And from Wayne of Corden, Cassandra Dara. Congratulations.
All right, there's a look at the Hall of Fame induction class for this year. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, the Class 1A state championship game is coming up. We'll have starting lineups as well as our first pitch right around the corner. Top-seeded Collins-Maxwell, the Spartans, set to take on AGWSR, the Cougars, here in the 2018 1A championship game. As both teams take the field, we send it up to Tim Fitzpatrick, our public address announcer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rogers Sports Complex in this 1A state championship game between the visiting team, the AGWSR Cougars, and the home team, the Collins-Maxwell Spartans. Let's meet the non-starters. First of all, for the visitors from AGWSR. Number 0, Elena Hunt. Number 3, Haley Baker. Number 4, Abby Robinson. Number 5, Haley Homeyer. Number 7, Cassidy Van Heiden. Number 12, Hannah Homeyer. Number 17, Erica Schuneman. Number 18, Shaylee Huffmeister. Number 19, Adri Daniels. Number 21, Anastasia Meyer. And number 27, Morgan Baker. Now, here are your starters. For the AGWSR Cougars, leading off and playing second base, number 25, McKenna Cooper. Batting second and doing the catching, number 2, Allie Gerbach. Batting third and doing the pitching, number 10, Taryn Barrick. Cleanup hitter for the Cougars at first base, number 11, Rachel Sykard. Batting fifth at third base, number 16, Josie Winterberg. Batting sixth in left field, number 13, Taylor Sperslagi. Batting seventh in right field, number 9, Alyssa Hames. Batting eighth in center field, number 6, Carrington Hunt. And batting ninth, the designated player, number 28, Sammy Denai. And your flex player shortstop, number 14, Sammy Musino. Co-head coaches for the Cougars, Brenda Drake and Scott O'Brien. Now, here are your non-starters for the home team from Collins-Maxwell. Number 3, Trinity Stover. Number 4, Janae Jones. Number 6, Angela Calkins. Number 10, Kenzie Weirson. Number 12, Avery Furkey. Number 13, Madison Starling. Number 14, Isabel Hill. Number 15, Sophie Wattonville. Number 18, Ava Declever. And number 25, Hannah Juergens. Assistant coach for the Spartans, Joan Birchmeyer. Now here's your starting lineup for the Collins-Maxwell Spartans. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 2, Alexis Hogue. Batting second in center field, number 1, Katie Camp. Batting third and doing the pitching, number 5, Michaela Hogue. Cleanup hitter for the Spartans and doing the catching, number 11, Hannah Capel. Batting fifth at third base, number 16, Reagan Franzen. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 17, Ella Kaler. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 9, Carrie Baldwin. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 8, Olivia Pasquarello. And batting ninth, the left fielder, number 7, Emma Kaler. And your flex player, first baseman, number 24, Braylon Tankersley. Head coach for the Spartans, Troy Hogue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn to our home plate area. The umpires assigned to this contest by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Jim Doyle. At third base, Terry Giuffretti. And calling the balls and strikes this evening, Jody Wilenga. Ladies and gentlemen, who's ready for state championship softball?
All right, let's take a look at our starting defense for the home team, Collins-Maxwell. The Spartans will be out on the field as we get things started. Across the outfield, left to right, Emma Kaler, the sophomore. Katie Camp is a senior in center. And Ella Kaler, a sophomore in right field. Across the infield, third baseman Reagan Franzen is just a freshman. Alexis Hogue, an 8th grader. At second base, Pasquarello is just a sophomore. And at first base, Tankersley is also a sophomore. Very young on the infield. Behind the plate, Hannah Capel is a junior. And in the circle, Michaela Hogue, a sophomore. Comes into the state tournament with a 0.48 earned run average. Has 279 strikeouts on the year. And over 150 innings pitched, and took a no-hitter into the 5th inning of the semifinal game yesterday against Lisbon. Had 10 strikeouts in that game, and she's pretty solid in the circle for the Spartans.
24 strikeouts in the state tournament, 1 walk. She has been very, very effective, is probably their best hitter as well.
Michaela Hogue will be batting third on the flip side of the order, but we take a look at what she will be facing. And the batting order for AGWSR, led off by McKenna Cooper. The freshman had a leadoff home run in the semifinal game. She's followed by Gerbrack, Barrick, Sykard, Winterberg. Sperfslog bats 6th. Hames bats 7th. Hunt, the center fielder, and then Deny round out your top 9 batting order for AGWSR. Well, Molly, let's take a look at the keys to the game here for Collins-Maxwell.
Well, we'll talk a lot about the Hogue family, not just Michaela and Alexis, but of course their father, Troy, head coach, also athletic director. We'll talk about offensive versatility for this Spartans squad. They actually haven't swung the bat all that well this week in Fort Dodge, but on the season hitting .433 as a squad. Very potent offense, but we've yet to see it this week.
Well, and the pitching has been so excellent here at the state tournament in this 1A bracket, including Michaela Hogue, set to pitch for Collins-Maxwell as McKenna Cooper gets her batting helmet situated here before the opening pitch. There is a look at Hogue, the sophomore.
I think one of the things to keep an eye out in this game might be pitch count. And we don't talk about pitch count in the game of softball like we maybe do in the game of baseball because of the more natural motion. But Michaela has only thrown 99 pitches in 2 games. Very efficient out on the mound. Doesn't throw a lot of balls. Very under control at all times. And on the other side for Barrick, almost double the pitch count. So something that we're we'll talk about a little bit throughout the game. And keys for AGWSR, both squads very young. Cooper at the plate, hit one out of the park in her first at-bat. They play more of a traditional style. Get runners on, maybe bunt them over, but they don't do a lot of slapping or the running game that you might see. It has become pretty common in softball.
Especially with the power at the leadoff spot with McKenna Cooper. And Hogue able to even the count at 1-1 on the leadoff batter. And Cooper hit her 10th home run of the season yesterday.
Cooper actually knows some of these Collins-Maxwell players. She plays some club ball with Michaela Hogue and Kaler sisters for the Iowa Blitz in the offseason, so they're pretty familiar with each other.
A little bit of a scouting report there, and it's a hit by pitch that puts Cooper on. And so the first batter reaches.
Attempting to brush her back, just brushed her back a little too far.
Well,
I think she'll be okay.
That pitch prior to bounced about halfway to home plate, so maybe having a little trouble getting a grip on the ball here for Michaela Hogue in this first inning.
Cooper was wearing some protective gear on that right elbow, suggesting that she kind of leans into pitches a little bit. That one was clearly going to hit her, but I think that's something that she's seen before, is those inside pitches.
Gerbrack puts the bunt down. Dropped by the first baseman. The throw over to third, and Cooper is safe. And now Gerbrack moves to second base on the throw. So an error on the first baseman as the first two runners aboard here for AGWSR. Cooper didn't hesitate at all.
Well, she wasn't looking to move all the way from first to third on that bunt, but as soon as she saw the bobble at first, great read by the freshman to take that open base. No trouble sliding in there, but it was close enough that she forced the throw, enabling her teammate then to slide in behind her safely at second.
So now Taryn Barrick at the plate with two aboard here in the first inning. Barrick yesterday 3 for 5, scored 2 runs, had 3 singles, 3 RBIs. Looking for an RBI here in the championship game in inning number 1.
Taryn will pitch for the Cougars to see if she can help her own cause here. Really good opportunity for AGWSR in the top of the first. We have talked in the open about jitters a little bit with both of these squads having quite a few underclassmen. And we expected some. I think you expect some a little bit regardless of the years of the players, but considering that both teams have a few more youngsters than maybe you would typically see, I think you can expect a few more bobbles probably on the defensive end. That's probably worked out okay for the Cougars in being the visitor.
Especially in the early innings. That one misses up high, evens the count at 2-2. And you would think if AGWSR can get some runs on the board here in the first, that might help settle the Cougars down defensively, try and put the pressure on the Spartans. And a called strike 3. Hogue sits down Barrick, and there's one away here in the first.
And Barrick knew right away. She let a good one go. She started walking to the dugout as soon as that hit the catcher's mitt. I think she wishes she could have gotten that one back. It looked like she thought about it a little bit, almost a little bit of a second guessing, a check swing, if you will. Right down the hatch.
Rachel Sykard to the plate. Had a 3-run blast in the 7th inning yesterday.
And Michaela Hogue, her bread and butter is going to that rise ball. Definitely wants to keep people off balance a little bit, but rise ball, fastball, good placement, that's her go-to so far for the Cougars. Not chasing that high heat.
Looks at a called strike, Sykard. 7 home runs on the season, a team best in runs batted in, and a big opportunity here for Rachel Sykard. Looks to bunt one in.
And Rachel's older sister, Ashley, was part of that state championship team in 2015. She was a pitcher, then went on to DMAC. She said yesterday after watching her sister get it done, it makes her itching even more to be able to raise that trophy herself.
The 7th grader that season goes down swinging. And that's 2 strikeouts here for Hogue in the first.
And so far, after getting into a little bit of a jam, Michaela Hogue really taking this matter into her own hands with back-to-back strikeouts. Her dad, head coach Troy, said yesterday she's just tough. She'll get in some tough situations every now and then, but she finds a way to work out of them. So far, she's doing a really nice job. Can she pull herself out of the jam completely with 3 straight outs?
A big test here early on in this 1A title game. Swing and a miss by Winterberg. AGWSR with Cooper at third, Gerbrack at second base. 2 away here for Winterberg. And here's the 0-2. Dismissed up high. Winterberg, freshman third baseman for the Cougars.
First base open, way up on this batter. Don't want to give her anything too good to hit.
Pop fly, that's going to stay on the infield. Alexis Hogue, the 8th grader, to make the catch and end the inning. Collins-Maxwell avoids a first inning jam, and they'll head in and grab their bats. AGWSR, their first 2 runners aboard, get them into scoring position, but cannot take advantage. Let's take a look at the defense that we'll face now here in the bottom of the first for AGWSR. Across the outfield, Sperfslog's a freshman, Hunt's a junior in center, and Hames is a freshman in right field. Another young infielder here for the Cougars. Winterberg, a freshman at third. Cooper, a freshman at second base. Musino, a sophomore at short. Rachel Sykard, a sophomore at first base, and Gerbrack, a sophomore behind the plate, catching the junior Taryn Barrick in the circle. A no-hitter in the regional final. That was her 3rd of the season. .68 earned run average, coming in 360 strikeouts now for the Cougars, or for the Cougars pitcher. Taryn Barrick leads the state in strikeouts, and 6 one-hitters as well. So not just the 3 no-hitters, but she's put together a number of solid complete games this season. Here's a look at the Collins-Maxwell lineup. They'll begin with 8th grader Alexis Hogue. The shortstop just made the final out in the top of the first. Camp bats second. Michaela Hogue third, followed by Capel, Franzen, Kaler, Baldwin, Pasquarello, Kaler. The 9 that will come to the plate for the Spartans.
Looking forward to this matchup between Barrick, somebody who strikes out a lot, as you saw in that graphic, against this Spartan squad, hitting .433 as a squad coming into the state tournament. They haven't swung the bat all that well in Fort Dodge, but have a very potent offense that we will see some fun battles at the plate.
Barrick in the circle, Alexis Hogue at the plate. Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Alexis Hogue, just an 8th grader. Offensively, though, she knows what she needs to do, and that's get on base and get things started offensively for the Spartans offense.
Well, she's 4 of 6 in the state tournament, so she's definitely done her job setting the table.
Barrick misses up high. Here's the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. With head coach Troy Hogue down at the third baseline.
Hogue choking up on their bat a little bit with these 2 strikes. Good battle there, getting a piece of it.
More of a protective swing right there. There you see the father, the 2 Hogue sisters. You see both of them come to the plate here in this first inning. That's Alexis, the 8th grader. Michaela will be batting third after Katie Camp, who's on deck. That one's fouled back. Hogue stays alive here.
Talking to Coach Hogue yesterday, asking him about coaching his daughters. They actually have a 3rd daughter, who I'm sure that we will mention at some point, who's a rising 7th grader. But he said he's probably a little harder on his daughters than he needs to be, but he knows their capabilities. He knows how good they can be, and he's going to be the dad and the coach he needs to be to help them see through on that potential.
We talked about, you know, just not wanting to be that coach that favors their kids and just a little bit harder on them than maybe the rest of the kids, but he's okay with that, and he knows that they can handle that. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here for the leadoff batter, Alexis Hogue. This is low and away, and that's just ball number 2. Thrown by Barrick.
And the 8th grader really making Barrick work on this first at-bat of the game.
And there's a called strike 3 on the outside corner for out number 1.
It looked like Coach Hogue and player Hogue maybe thought it was a little outside. I could maybe see their point. Although I have no interest in being an umpire, and so I am not going to criticize. It's not an easy job. Instead, let's say great job of framing by the catcher.
Absolutely, absolutely. Credit Gerbrack back there, the sophomore. Frames that one for strike 1 here on Katie Camp. Camp, the center fielder for the Spartans. The only senior on this team. Coach says she has talked more this year than she has the last 4 years combined. And with a very young team, it's helped really set those high expectations. Teammates call her mom, but just a huge leader. Does it quietly, but sometimes you need those kids that just do it by example. It's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So 2 strikeouts to start the Class 1A championship game for AGWSR pitcher Taryn Barrick.
She gets her to chase this out of the zone. Smart piece of pitching when you're up in the count.
Camp knew it right away, and that brings Michaela Hogue to the plate. The Spartans pitcher. The junior can do it at the plate as well, batting over 500 on the season. Leads the team with just 4 home runs coming into the state tournament. And quickly behind, no balls, 2 strikes.
While Michaela does participate in other sports at Collins-Maxwell, softball certainly her love. Definitely the sport she would like to pursue at the college level in a couple of years. Speaking of college softball, we've seen a lot of coaches, not only from the state of Iowa, but from the Midwest this week in Fort Dodge. Always love to welcome so many of those folks to the state of Iowa and to Fort Dodge to recruit our student athletes.
There's been a lot of great talent on display here. And Taryn Barrick of AGWSR shows a few eyeballs should be on the Cougars pitcher. Right on the inside half of the plate. Hogue knew it. She'll head out to the pitcher's circle.
AGWSR huddle there. That is co-head coach Brenda Drake. Right there is other co-head coach Scott O'Brien. We chatted with players a little bit yesterday about these two co-head coaches, different personalities, what they both bring to the table. Coach O'Brien works with pitchers a little bit more. Coach Drake was a catcher herself back in the day. She works more with the catchers. Coach Drake, good shot at her there. They said she's more loose. Good example right there, putting her arm around a player, smiling, trying to loosen him up a little bit. Whereas Coach O'Brien, they say, is a little more high-strung. They even have a bottle of what they call chill pills, which are actually Skittles.
Yes.
And they give those to Coach O'Brien, keep him in the dugout. And every other game, I think, consistently they switch between third base and first base dugout.
All right, here's a look at the road to this championship game. Collins-Maxwell defeats Newell Fonda and Lisbon. AGWSR taking down Janesville and Akron-Westfield here at the state tournament. And colliding here this evening in the 1A championship game. And so back into the circle for Collins-Maxwell. Michaela Hogue allowed the first two runners to reach in the first inning. But then 3 straight outs, 2 strikeouts in that first inning for Hogue. And so AGWSR leading off with Taylor Sperfslagi. Fouls that one back. Count is 1-2.
Cougar squad has swung the bat pretty well as a team in Fort Dodge. 3-14 in 2 games this week.
Strike 3, and Hogue tallies K number 3 here in the second inning. Out number 1 here in the top of the second. To the plate comes Alyssa Hames. Hames started a big 5-run 7th inning. Was hit by a pitch, scored a run. And sometimes getting production from the bottom of the order helps set up the top of the order, and that's what Hames did in the semifinals in their win over Akron-Westfield. Swinging through, strike 2. Hames down to her final strike.
Head coach Troy Hogue does call the pitches for this Spartans squad, but he has a very capable catcher as the other half of his battery, and Hannah Capel. She squeezes the glove there for another strikeout.
Back-to-back strikeouts to start the second. That's 4 for Hogue. Right up at the letters. Neither team really able to catch up to the high heat they've seen here in the first inning and a half.
Like many of these pitchers at the state tournament, Michaela Hogue has been doing this for a long time, started lessons as a 3rd grader. And just 1 year in, Hannah Capel, her current catcher, started catching for her at lessons. So these two players, they're 1 year apart in school, but they have been pitching and catching together since the 4th and the 5th grade. And I'm sure there are times when body language and eye contact and those types of nonverbals help them communicate just because they have done it together for so long.
One misses up high, 2 balls, 1 strike. Molly, as we were talking to the two of them yesterday, they said we know our personalities. We know how to either cheer each other up or calm each other down, whatever the situation needs to be. We've played together for so long. They know how each other tick.
Hannah said sometimes she feels like the 4th Hogue sister because she's around. She's around the family so often. Apparently even drives the sisters around, so.
Both families live out in the country, not too far from each other. Curveball slides in there for the corner. And it's 3 strikeouts here in the 3rd inning. Strikeout total up to 5 now for Michaela Hogue of Collins-Maxwell.
Okay, it's a fastball and it rides. I mean, she'll throw a little bit hurt, but it's a fastball that's riding. You just got to take it and go with it. Okay, this is where it's easy to be late on it and go because it'll be right where we want it. But you got to be ready to swing. Okay, we came out 1st inning, and my best hitters here. Well, you weren't. You did a good job up there. We got a little intimidating, got out of what you do. Okay, get up there and let's get after it here. It's time to get things rolling. All right, get it going. 1, 2, 3, get it going. Let's go. Now relax and play your game. Here we go. That 1st inning, let's wipe it clean, and now we go.
That is head coach Troy Hogue for the Collins-Maxwell Spartans. A little advice on how to try and approach Taryn Barrick. 2 strikeouts and a pop out to end the inning in, excuse me, 3 strikeouts in the bottom of the 1st here for Barrick. Sitting down the order in order. Hannah Capel, the first to the plate here for the Spartans. Junior catcher digs in. Something to keep an eye out for too. Hannah has a little dance she likes to do after she gets a hit. That one will roll foul. The first base side hits 482. So she's got it down. She's a great situational hitter too. In the 1st inning, actually drove in the winning run. It was a slap to the right side of the infield. Something Coach Hogue said is just really impressive how cognizant she is of the situation when she's at the plate. And in this situation, just try and get on base.
Yeah, nothing pretty. Just need ducks on the pond at this point. Or somebody to make solid contact after the side was struck out in the 1st.
And right to Barrick in the pitcher's circle for out number 1. Cape will drive it right up the middle.
Now in yesterday's game, Hannah had a great line shot to second base. Second base jumped up, snagged it. Hannah went over and gave her a high five.
Appreciates good play. That was a nice play right there by Barrick in the pitcher's circle. So Franzen at the plate. Swings through strike 2. Megan Franzen was 0 for 2 yesterday. Just a pair of hits though for the team, and there's another strikeout. It's number 4 for Barrick.
This potent lineup for the Spartans, just not able to get it done so far in first couple of innings.
There's the first of 2 Kaler sisters we'll see in the lineup. The sophomore, this is Ella, the right fielder. Two balls, no strikes here. Really seems as though Barrick is just dialed in here early on, doesn't it, Molly?
Yeah. She was impressive yesterday, too. Had a little bit of trouble in the later innings with some control issues. Had a few more walks than usual.
Barrick gets her on the tag. That is out number 3. 1 unassisted.
She sure is cruising here in these first 2 innings.
She has faced the minimum and has 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings.
Nice job of hopping off the mound. Very athletic play out of number 10.
4 strikeouts, also recorded the other 2 outs, catching the line drive and making the tag for out number 3.
Head Coach O'Brien, I hear him saying, just relax. So far, the Cougars doing first inning. Sure looked like they were going to capitalize with runners on second and third and no outs. But as we said, Michaela Hogue really just taking the matter into her own hands the remainder of that first inning, and then in the second inning as well. Been pretty untouchable. 5 strikeouts already, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been an impressive start for both pitchers as Hogue gets set for the start of inning number 3. AGWSR to the plate with 9-1-2. Sammy Denai, designated player, leads things off here in the top of the 3rd. Looks at strike 1. Called strike 2. You'll hear the AGWSR bench throughout this game, Molly. The non-starters during one of their weekend tournaments put together a 3-ring binder of cheers, one for each kid. There's strike 3 as Denai goes down swinging. And strikeout number 6 for Hogue. And to the top of the order we go here for AGWSR. McKenna Cooper will face Hogue for the 2nd time.
Well, between the chill pills for Coach O'Brien and the binder of cheers that they have made up, you like to hear about the fun that these young people are having. It's, of course, the game is important and it's intense and they want to win, but it's important that they're enjoying it. So I like to hear those kinds of stories.
That one misses up high. Hogue. Rosin and ready to go here with the 1-1. That one's fouled back. We've got some sprinkles coming down here in Fort Dodge here in the top of the 3rd. There's the 1-2. Up and away on Cooper.
Got a good look at Cooper's speed in the first inning as she got on base, and then on the second batter's bunt, the error at first base ended up making her way all the way to 3rd, where she stayed for the remainder of the inning, but definitely has wheels.
Strikes out swinging here in the 3rd inning. 7 strikeouts now for Michaela Hogue. Allie Gerbrack to the plate. The catcher for AGWSR digs in. Slaps it left side. This is Hogue to make the throw over to first. Alexis's throw right on target to Tankersley. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Collins-Maxwell. We'll take another look at Alexis Hogue making the play on Gerbrack.
Michaela Hogue definitely trusts her defense behind her, but frankly, she hasn't given them too many opportunities to participate on the defensive end in these first few innings. Rain coming down a little bit harder, although it's sunny. Some peculiar weather we've seen across the state of Iowa today.
Keep an eye on how this affects the handle on the ball for Taryn Barrick, the AGWSR pitcher.
It's there. Okay, it's there.
We don't anticipate a stoppage of play unless, of course, there's more dangerous weather in the area or lightning, something of that nature. Players need to play through it here. And like you said, the gripping of the ball for the pitchers may be the most challenging aspect of the rain. And
7-8-9 coming up for Collins-Maxwell here in the bottom of the third. Gary Baldwin, the designated player, will dig in with Pasquarello on deck.
Low-scoring affair for Collins-Maxwell in Lisbon yesterday. Collins-Maxwell actually scored in the bottom of the first, and then there was no more scoring for the remainder of that game, finishing the contest with that 1-0 final outcome. For AGWSR, a lot of runs scored in that one. The team's combining for 17 runs as AGWSR defeated Akron Westfield 12-5. It's actually only 1-0 after 4 innings, and then there's all sorts of crazy action in innings 5, 6, and 7, but Cougars held on.
This is Braylon Tankersley at the plate, not Baldwin. The flex player slides in for the DP here in the 7 spot. Looks at strike 2. 1-2 the count here on Tankersley. Swinging through, strike 2. Strikeout number 5 for Barrick. And there's one away here in the third.
Often these state championship games, a lot on the line, very good pitchers for both squads. We don't anticipate high-scoring affairs. It often comes down to one team pushing a run across with a key hit with 2 outs, maybe a late-game situation, something of that nature. So I don't think we're all that surprised that we're scoreless here in the bottom of the third.
Well, after the last 2.5 innings, Molly, how important do you think that top of the first was for Michaela Hogue? Those first 2 runners aboard, they were on second and third with nobody out. And Collins-Maxwell's defense able to get out of the jam without allowing a run.
Well, anytime you get a runner on second with no outs, I feel like you've got to like your chances of pushing one across, but I think definitely a big motivating factor for the Spartans when they ran off the field. You could see their enthusiasm. You could see the fist pumps after getting out of that jam. That's kind of one of those situations. If you're the Cougars, you're thinking about, man, what possibly could have been.
Emma Kaler at the plate. Sophomore left fielder. Fouls it back, and Barrick up again in the count. No balls and 2 strikes here on Kaler. Both pitchers working quickly in the circle. Here's the 0-2. Down below the knees, just misses. And it's 1-2.
And Emma Kaler, who's at the bat. When we ask the players anything quirky or funny about your team, so Emma is apparently quite the vlogger, and that's vlog with a V, not blog with a B. Brad had to be educated on what a vlog is. So it's a video blog. She's got an ongoing video blog going on YouTube. You can just search for Emma Kaler. She's been documenting the Spartans' experiences here in the great city of Fort Dodge. So Brad and I agree.
Checked one of them out today.
We're going to try to get her some pub here, and by mentioning her early in her first at-bat in the 3rd inning, we're hoping we can give her a little uptick on her followers. So check it out here between the game action.
Emma with 2 M's, Kaler, K-A-H-L-E-R. You can Google her on YouTube and you'll find it. So goes down swinging, though, and that is strikeout number 7 for Taryn Barrick, the junior for AGWSR. And we quickly move into the top of the 4th inning, where Michaela Hogue gets set to go to work. And so we check in with AGWSR head coach Scott O'Brien. And Scott, just kind of tell us how you feel your kids are handling these first few innings and getting some runners on base there in that first.
Yeah, we missed a real gold opportunity there when we had those runners in second and third. We've got to just calm down a little, shorten up our swings, just put the ball in play, you know, let her do some of the work, and I think we'll be okay. We're still working on making those adjustments, though.
Both pitchers really seem to be dealing a gem. Talk about your girl in the circle.
She got a good rhythm the first inning, and that's really key. And it's key for any pitcher, but especially for her with what we've been going through at the state tournament. So we're real happy to see that. She's got a rhythm going, and look for her to have a strong performance tonight.
All right, thank you, Coach, very much.
You're welcome.
All right, and 7 strikeouts, as we mentioned, for Taryn Barrick. We now flip the page and take a look at Michaela Hogue, and Hogue has 7 to her credit as well through 3 innings. To the plate here is Taryn Barrick, the pitcher for AGWSR. Struck out looking in her first at-bat back in inning number 1. Hard hit ball, but foul down the third base line. Franzen, the freshman, playing just a few steps inside the bag. Barrick just about snuck that one over top of the base.
And with as dominant as Michaela Hogue has been, we just haven't seen too many hard hit balls by the Cougars here in these first few innings.
And that one hits Barrick, and the second hit batsman of the game. And the third base runner aboard in this contest for AGWSR. They'll have a courtesy runner coming out, Haley Baker, the senior. One of just 2 seniors on the squad.
Barrick definitely not looking to avoid that hit by pitch. Kind of like we saw with Cooper in the first inning when she was hit. Barrick also wears that pretty significant elbow pad on that inside arm, so suggesting that she leans into a pitch from time to time.
So AGWSR, a base runner aboard here in the 4th inning. Rachel Sykard to the plate. Struck out in her first at-bat, but has some power. And looks to bunt Baker over to second, missing there.
I mean, the Cougars had those runners on second and third in that first inning. They just were not able to move runners effectively. We'll see if they can. Different situation here with a runner on first, but rather than a runner on second and third with the no outs, but we'll see if they can do a better job of trying to push these runners and advancing them.
Sykard yesterday, a single, double, and a home run, and she should get a swing at it here with a 1-2 count. Unless they do continue to try and sacrifice Baker up to second base.
Smart pitch call there from Coach Hogue, realizing that Sykard was wanting to bat. He
Hogue gets another strikeout.
Instructs his pitcher to throw it high out of the zone, gets her to chase. Have a hard time getting a bunt down on a high fastball. She's not able to get it down, and then with the 2 strikes, bunting for some players is just not really an option because of the risk.
Strikeout number 8 for Hogue. Winterberg at the plate. Tries to move Baker up. Popped out to end the first in her first at-bat. Shortstop Alexis Hogue made the catch. Here's a bunt attempt. It is a fair ball, and they're going to get the force out at second. Winterberg thought for sure it was going to spin fair. Almost held off running. And it looked like, was that Franzen came up, made the scoop? Well, flipped it to foul territory. Heads up play, though, for her to throw it to second.
Just a little bit of indecision there by your base runner, Baker.
So 5-6 fielder's choice. Franzen to Hogue. Alexis Hogue, the shortstop, covering second. And Taylor Sperfslage. Swinging at strike one. Would have been ball two upstairs. A strikeout in her first at bat. Now a called strike two. Michaela Hogue averages nearly 11 strikeouts a game. Here's a grounder slap to the right side. They just got the force at second base. A quick flip from Pasquarello to Hogue. And the Spartans, some quick defense there to end that one. She was going for the tag, and Winterberg, I think, was just jogging to second, thinking the throw was going to go to first base. AGWSR leadoff runner aboard, and Collins-Maxwell able to close it down.
Make them make plays. Okay, we told you, we're stronger on the defense. You know we made there and there, but we haven't made them play defense yet. Let's make them play.
Here is a look at AGWSR pitcher Taryn Barrick. And 180 frames per second, slowed down.
The junior's been very impressive the first several innings of this game. Keeping this pretty potent Spartan offense, holding them in check.
7 strikeouts for Barrick so far. Hogue's total is up to 8 now as she's through 4. And has just been dealing from the start. 3 strikeouts in the first inning. Recorded all the outs in the second inning. Caught a line drive, had a strikeout, and then tagged the runner on their way to first for out number 3. 3 strikeouts in inning number 3. She has a good defense behind her, Molly, but she just hasn't needed it so far.
Yeah, she's a little selfish here in these first few innings. Alexis Hogue, the 8th grader, had a good battle. Her first at bat was not able to get aboard, but impressed me for an 8th grader in particular, the way she hung right in there, fouled several pitches off.
And now we'll go into that 2-strike defensive mode. And a nice catch made at second base by Sammy Musino.
We will on occasion see Musino and Cooper out at short and second flip positions mid-inning. We saw them do that a couple times yesterday.
A lot of times with lefty batters, if they're not slappers, they'll put Cooper over at second base in the deeper hole. Musino runs over to shortstop, and then they flip right back for a right-handed batter. Here at the plate, Katie Camp, though, also a slapper. They keep Musino up close to the circle next to Barrick.
Talking to Coach Drake yesterday and to McKenna Cooper, said it's something that they do pretty regularly throughout the season, but also dependent on what the other team has for lefties, if they have true lefty hitters or if they're more of the slapping variety like we've seen on this Spartans team.
The outfield, too, also kind of shifts on those slap hitters as well. That's something that started doing about 8 years ago. And then Major League Baseball caught on. You start to see shifts all the time with the big sluggers, the pull hitters. They continue to do it at AGWSR and here in the 2018 1A state championship game. Barrick throttles in another strike, and it's 1-1 on Michaela Hogue. Pop fly right side. That's Cooper over at second. Camps underneath it. And it's Taryn Barrick who has faced the minimum here for AGWSR defensively as Cooper makes the catch. And it'll be 7-8-9 coming up for AGWSR. Well, we saw Taryn Barrick in super slow-mo. How about Michaela Hogue, the sophomore? Pitching lessons since 3rd grade.
She has been really impressive in Fort Dodge this week in 2 games. 24 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Low pitch count, just 99 pitches thrown in those first 2 games. Very effective, very efficient.
All right, let's check in now with Collins-Maxwell head coach Troy Hogue. Coach, just how are you able to get out of that first inning jam, first of all, when AGWSR threatened early?
We got a pitcher that's been in those situations a lot in her past. I mean, if a runner gets on third, she's very, very good at keeping them there. She just really bears down when runners get in scoring position, and you know, that's why she's here. That's why she's the pitcher she is. She knows how to take care of business in those tough situations.
Both pitchers seem to be dealing. How do you guys try and attack Barrick and get some runners on board?
Well, that last inning, we finally started getting some hits together. Alexis just a little bit unlucky there on that first one, line drive. The girl's able to catch. It's over another foot or so. We're probably on third base in a couple pitches here with her on base, and it changes the whole tempo for us. But, you know, this pitcher, Barrick's she's one of the best out there. I mean, this is a heavyweight battle with 2 great pitchers here, and you know, we haven't seen anybody that fast in our conference and stuff, and this year, and so we're just needing to adjust to the speed she throws, and like I said, I think we're starting to a little bit, but we just got to keep working on things, and hopefully something will break for us here shortly.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
Hey, thank you.
All right, so Michaela Hogue in the circle. You see her there, set to get the 5th inning started. Scoreless through 4 for both squads. Just 1 error by Collins-Maxwell. Otherwise, no hits recorded for either squad. AGWSR offensively has had more to talk about than Collins-Maxwell. 2 base runners in the 1st inning and a base runner in the 4th. The 7, 8, 9 spots here in the order. Alyssa Hames, the right fielder, digs in.
See if they can set the table a little bit for the top of their order.
Hames hits over 300 on the season. Struck out in her first at-bat. One ball, 2 strikes.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet when you talk about the magnitude of a state championship game, one aspect that co-head coach Brenda Drake mentioned yesterday for the Cougars of AGWSR is that many of these players ran in the state track meet. Many of them were on the state qualifying basketball team this winter. And she said she feels like that has contributed to their success in Fort Dodge because they just haven't had some of those jitters that you often see, and they attribute that to some of their high-level experience in other sports.
And there's our first hit of the game. Alyssa Hames knocks it into right field, and AGWSR for the third time in this game has the leadoff runner aboard. Ella Kaler, the right fielder, came up throwing, but Hames gets to first. Here's Hunt at the plate. Looks at strike one. This AGWSR squad, Molly, too, they've gone through some adversity off the field as well. Some family members that have had some health issues, and the death of close relatives as the sacrifice by Hunt moves Hames down to second base. There's one away. Sammy Denai comes up. But for AGWSR, pitcher Taryn Barrick, her grandpa Dale Barrick, who was head of the area Little League, spent many hours in meetings with Coach Scott O'Brien. He passed away this past April. Coach O'Brien wears a ribbon on the back of his hat for his good friend Dale. Passed away in April from brain cancer, and was just huge with the area baseball softball organizations. Got the Cooper and Winterbergs, their families have also had some medical issues that they're facing. Cooper family member, brain tumor surgery earlier this week. So some heavy stuff for some pretty young kids.
Well, those are the types of things that often bring a team closer together. We've talked about the chemistry on this Cougar squad. No doubt that Collins-Maxwell Spartans have a high level of chemistry as well, but sometimes it's those scary and challenging life experiences that bring your team closer together, and I would say that's definitely the case with the Cougars for sure.
There was a great read by Collins-Maxwell's third baseman, Reagan Franzen, to let that bunt roll foul. There's the 2-2, and it turns into a strikeout for Hogue, and that is number 9 for Michaela Hogue, and there's 2 away here in the first. Top of the order coming up. McKenna Cooper to the plate with a runner in scoring position.
I think they're going to put her on. Not surprising. So in high school, you don't have to throw 4 balls. This is a newer rule. You don't have to throw 4 balls. You can put them on. Can't say that I love it personally. I think a pitcher should have to prove that they can be under control and throw 4 pitches out, but I don't make the rules. So
automatically awarding first
McKenna
base.
Cooper goes to first, and I think that's a good piece of coaching, certainly by Coach Hogue, to put your opponent's best hitter on first with first base open. And now it's a good challenge for the second hitter of the lineup here.
Okay, you can do it. All right, here we go.
Find a gap, slap it out there. Allie Gerbrack, the catcher, to the plate, reached in the first inning on an error by the first baseman. And is at the plate with 2 aboard and 2 away here in the 5th. Looks at strike 1. Gerbrack, a .391 batter. 24 RBIs on the season coming in. 14 sacrifices, but they're looking for a base hit here. There's a big swing and a miss for strike 2.
Sure, there have been plenty of situations this year. Looks like McKenna Cooper's been walked over 20 times on the season, so Gerbrack certainly been in a position before where opposing pitchers have pitched around Cooper in order to get to her, and she is unable to connect.
Hogue gets strikeout number 10. We'll be back with more of our 1A championship game right after this.
It's easy to get excited about all of the beautiful produce at the farmer's market, but then what do you do with it when you get home? don't worry, we've got you covered. On the next Iowa Ingredient, two of our favorite chefs, Katie Meyer and David Borusio, will share some tips and recipes to help you get the most out of your market fresh foods. It's all on a special Farmers Market episode of Iowa Ingredient.
Saturday morning at 11:30.
Do you Snapchat? So does IPTV. Add Iowa Public TV or snap our code. Get live peeks at our productions as they happen in real time. See exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Connect with all our social networks by visiting iptv.org/social.
Scoreless as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Collins-Maxwell to the plate, looking for their first hit of the contest, looking for their first base runner of the contest. It's Taryn Barrick has been dealing for AGWSR. 7 strikeouts. She's faced the minimum 12 batters through 4 innings. First pitch to Hannah Capel. Fouled back for strike 1. Barrick has gotten ahead in the count more times than not.
She's just been locked in this game. Very impressed with the way that she has come back after pretty decent pitch count after the first couple of games. She has been really, really impressive. Coach Hogue, after that last inning, mentioning this game being a game of inches, and Alexis, a little bit of tough luck there, hitting a line drive that goes right at an infielder. If that doesn't happen, things can be completely different, because the next 2 batters did get a piece of it and would have been able to advance her, but that's softball, so you move on to the next inning. But I think that's a good message to send to your players that, hey, we're close, we're starting to make some contact. This second time through the lineup, let's be more effective, let's learn from our first time through.
There's a fly ball to left field. Sperslagi goes back and then comes forward to make the catch for out number 1. The breeze kind of blowing from left field towards center.
Nice job by the outfielder to take that first step back.
Sperslagi, just a freshman out there in left. So Reagan Franzen to the plate. Swings at strike 1, and Coach Hogue trying to get his batters settled down, as kind of see both teams still chasing that occasional high pitch or outside pitch. That one just misses low. Taryn Barrick, though, the pitcher here for AGWSR, leads the state in strikeouts through a no-hitter in the regional final over Fort Dodge St. Edmund. That was her 3rd no-hitter of the season. She had 15 strikeouts in that game. Also has 6 one-hitters and averages a state best just about 13 strikeouts a game. It's a power pitcher with a rise ball and a hard fastball. Also has a drop and a changeup if she needs it, but it's been a lot of smoke here. There's a ground ball left side. Musino makes the throw in time from the shortstop position, and there's 2 away. Sammy Musino, the sophomore, makes a nice play moving to her right and gets the out.
As we mentioned a couple of innings ago, second base and short will from time to time switch places. Great job. Musino, not known for the arm the way Cooper probably is, but nice piece of infielding, as you said, moving to her right and still making that play at first.
This is Ella Kaler, the right fielder, sister of the famous Collins-Maxwell vlogger, Emma.
Kaler sisters and Michaela Hogue You might remember hearing about a Central Iowa softball team going to the Little League World Series, and those 3 players were part of a Central Iowa team, a mix of players from a couple different school districts. And you might remember hearing about some controversy in that game. So the Kaler sisters and Michaela Hogue were part of that. Alexis wasn't old enough to be part of that squad, but
that's right. That was
certainly a memorable experience for those 3 players, not just to get to that World Series, but some good, probably hard lessons learned. There were a few ethical challenges, not by the Iowa team, but by another team. And
the Central Iowa team made it to a semifinal round of Little League World Series. It was out in Portland. They lost to Rhode Island, but then there was a loss by Washington to North Carolina, where Washington supposedly threw the game. Iowa filed an appeal. It was upheld. Had a playoff game. Iowa defeated Washington. Good lesson on playing with honor, keeping the spirit of competition at the forefront of your mind.
And Coach Hogue mentioned that was a good learning experience as far as being in a tough situation, some adversity learning from the game of softball. He said that's something that those 3 players in particular really learned from that whole ordeal.
Kaler looks at a ball down low. The Collins-Maxwell Spartans, too, that have played together. They've talked about playing in some of these different tournaments, the Little League World Series. Boy, this state championship, though, this state tournament means an awful lot to them. They said they really want to win this one. That pitch just missed by Barrick, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ella Kaler. Strike 3, and it's strikeout number 8 for Barrick. And AGWSR defensively has still just faced the minimum through 5, 15 up, 15 down for the Cougars defense. Let's take a look at some defensive highlights, pitching highlights, if you will, here from our first 5 innings.
Pitching highlights is right. Haven't seen a whole lot of defense just because Barrick and Hogue have really done the Lions' share of the work on the defensive end. Barrick, a junior, Hogue, a sophomore. 2 players that we anticipate won't be surprised, I should say, if they're back here next year, and another 2 years for Hogue.
Barrick with 8 strikeouts, Hogue with 10. As we head to the 6th inning, scoreless. Collins-Maxwell, they were in a tight one, Molly, in the semifinals. The game that we saw yesterday, where they defeated Lisbon 1-0. They scored 1 run in the first inning. Then it was zeros the rest of the way. So far, zeros all across the board. Just 1 hit for AGWSR. That came from Alyssa Hames. And for Collins-Maxwell, they have not allowed a run at the state tournament so far. No runs allowed to either Newell Fonda or Lisbon. Taryn Barrick wants to take her base. Home plate umpire Jody Walenga is calling her back.
Huh? No, she was not covered. She was staying right there. She was not pulling back in my judgment. There's no pullback on that. No, no, no. So that's what I'm going with.
So what's the call then? Ball 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Ball 1.
So it is ball 1.
Yep, you're welcome.
So she leaned back, but her elbow and upper body dipped down, and saying that she went into the pitch. So just mark it as ball 1.
I think her last time up, when Barrick was hit by the pitch, I would say it was a similar circumstance. Kind of had that elbow hanging over the plate, and that was a pitch or a situation where Coach Hogue for Collins-Maxwell and pitcher Michaela Hogue didn't necessarily agree with it. Well, this other one goes the other way.
Barrick able to lay off the high fastball by Hogue. One's low and away, and it's 3-1. It's the first 3-ball count by either pitchers. We have not had a 4-ball walk. We had the intentional walk. It's a swing and a miss. It's 3-2. We've had 2 hits batsmen here by Hogue. That one's popped foul and out of play behind the Collins-Maxwell dugout. So Barrick back to the plate, trying to get something started here in the 6th inning. 3 times AGWSR has had the leadoff batter reach base. And they do it here in the 6th as Barrick looks at ball 4 upstairs. And Haley Baker, courtesy ran for Barrick back in the 4th, and she will come out of the dugout here in the 6th to run, with Rachel Sykard coming to the plate.
Coach Drake giving her some nice words of wisdom. A little bit of a base running miscue first time she was on. Just a little bit of a tough situation with a bunt that was popped up. It looked like it was potentially going to be catched, and then it stayed fair. So Coach Drake talking her through some of those situations. Here's what we're looking to do with Sykard up at bat.
Baker, the senior, 6 stolen bases on the year.
We've had so few base runners in this game. We've yet to see a stolen base attempt.
Sykard looks at strike 1. Sykard has a team best with runs batted in, but right now looking to sacrifice Baker up to 2nd. You mentioned the family history for Rachel. Her sister Ashley was the pitcher when AGWSR won the 2015 state championship here in Fort Dodge.
And talking to co-head coaches O'Brien and Drake yesterday, they said, we know how fortunate we've been with the pitchers that we've had the last 8 years. Ashley, and then of course now with Taryn Barrick, 2 really talented pitchers in the circle. Been able to ride their arms a little bit.
Sykard looks at ball 3. The count is full, so now back-to-back batters with 3 balls, 2 strikes. After neither pitcher throwing more than 2 balls to a batter in the first 5 innings. Strike 3. Sykard goes down swinging for out number 1. And Michaela Hogue with 11 Ks here this evening in the championship game. Josie Winterberg, the 3rd baseman, digs in for the Cougars. Baker at first. Bunt attempt right side, it rolls foul. It's been hard to execute the sacrifice bunt tonight for AGWSR facing Michaela Hogue. She's got the rise ball as her go-to pitch, and that's kind of a tricky one to bunt, Molly.
Yeah, it sure is. And unless it's a bunt and run situation where you're going to potentially leave your base runner out to dry, there's no reason to attempt at it. If it's clearly out of the zone and it's not a pitch that you can work with, just pull back.
Winterberg reached on a fielder's choice in her last at-bat. There's a bunt attempt down, and Hogue has to make the play in front of the circle and does at first. So a sacrifice bunt, but there's 2 away. Sacrifice bunt moves Baker to second base and will give Taylor Sperslage an opportunity to put a run on the board.
I think Coach O'Brien realizing you're probably not too likely to string several hits together, so let's advance the runner to second, put someone in scoring position. If we can get a base hit, we'll try to score on it.
Hard hit balls by Sperslage. Pasquarello makes the easy throw over to first. And we remain scoreless here in the 6th inning. Collins-Maxwell, the defense, backing up Michaela Hogue to end the top of the 6th. We'll be back in a minute here to the 1A State Softball Championship game.
The PBS Summer of Adventure continues with 10 that changed America.
That is mind-boggling engineering.
No passport required.
Where would we be without the Mexican-American chefs?
Earth's Natural Wonders.
This is a 200-meter drop.
And Kingdoms of the Sky.
Wow, amazing.
10 that changed America. No passport required. Earth's Natural Wonders and Kingdoms of the Sky. Part of the PBS Summer of Adventure.
Tune in to Iowa Public Television Tuesday at 7.
Join the conversation online with Iowa Public Television. Follow us on Facebook. Connect with us on all our social networks.
Welcome back to the 1A championship game. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Softball Championship. There are the fans from Collins-Maxwell that made their way to Fort Dodge, Iowa to support their Spartans. Swing and a miss by Braylon Tankersley. Tankersley 0 for 1, strikeout back in the 3rd inning. Strike 2 thrown by Taryn Berg, the junior, throwing a gem for AGWSR. Collins-Maxwell looking at those fans though, Molly. This is the first year as Collins-Maxwell after 29 years of Collins-Maxwell Baxter. Shared athletics with Baxter. And talking to Coach Hogue about this first year, he said, hey, Baxter brought some good athletes, but these kids, they've moved forward and they just know that this is how it is now. In 2016, they made it to state as Collins-Maxwell Baxter. The Raiders then, now the Spartans, back at state and into the championship game for the first time. Kind of an opportunity to set the bar in year number 1.
And
with
I said,
new identity.
We've heard a lot about that this year. You know, a lot of firsts, a lot of firsts. It's an opportunity to make history. And they realize that. They realize that for their communities, those 2 communities. But it's a milestone after so many years of combining 4 athletics. It meant moving to a different conference. They were in the heart of Iowa. Now we're in the Iowa Star South. Rolled through that conference with a 15-0 record this year.
Another strikeout. That's number 10. Taryn Barrick wheeling and dealing for AGWSR. There's a look at the junior. Wants to play college softball after high school and showing some big game ice in the veins. You were talking about pitch count. Took to the top of the 6th inning before any pitcher threw a batter ball 3. It's been impressive what Taryn Barrick is doing here.
Well, against that solid Akron Westfield club yesterday. Akron-Westfield was the 2 seed in the tournament. Barrick had some uncharacteristic control issues later in that game, ended up with 7 walks. But she buckled down when she needed to. Akron-Westfield had a big 6th inning when they scored 3. But then AGWSR turned right back around, top of the 7th, scored 5. But really, for the most part, Collins-Maxwell, they've gotten their stick on it a couple times, but really, for the most part, she's been pretty untouchable.
Absolutely. Has continued to face the minimum. 17 up, 17 down. Emma Kaler at the plate facing a 2-2. Slaps it right side. Charging is Cooper. The easy flip over to Sykard. And it is 18 batters through 6 innings. And the AGWSR crowd to their feet as they get set to bring their bats to the plate here in the 7th inning. We'll be back with more championship softball right here on Iowa Public Television.
Hi, I'm Charity Nebbe, host of Iowa Ingredient. More and more viewers are becoming sustaining members to support Iowa Public Television because it's easy and hassle-free. You simply choose an amount to give each month through your bank account or through your credit card, and you're set. It's a great way to support the shows you love month after month. You can give online or you can call 800-728-2828. Thank you so much.
Coming up on this episode of Iowa Outdoors.
I love writing and illustrating. There was a playwright, Horton Foote, who said, "You don't find stories, stories find you." And I think that's the same with nature. You might not know nature, but nature knows you and keeps pulling you back.
Iowa Outdoors, Saturday morning at 9.
Welcome back to the 1A championship game, top of the 7th inning. And back out there in the circle is Michaela Hogue. And Molly, how about the week that Michaela Hogue has had? 14 strikeouts against Newell Fonda, 10 against Lisbon, and now 11 here against AGWSR.
Pretty good.
35 strikeouts and counting here for Michaela Hogue, the sophomore. State tournament helps her cross the 300 strikeout plateau.
Well, we've talked quite a bit about that first inning, but I think that was just such a great illustration of her toughness, that she was able to buckle down after her team getting into a little bit of a jam because of a defensive miscue. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, no outs. She strikes out 2 in a row and gets the 3rd one to fly out.
Alyssa Hames at the plate. She has the game's only base hit. A single to right field, and looks at strike 2 to fill up the count here as we begin the top of the 7th inning. Hames looking to get it started for AGWSR. Instead, Hogue with strikeout number 36 for the week. That's number 12 in this game.
Talked a lot about the Hogue sisters. Of course, Michaela in the circle, Alexis out at shortstop. Younger sister Erica will be a 7th grader, also a softball player. Coach Troy Hogue was her coach this year at the middle school level. Mom Tricia coached the kids when they were younger. So
she coached Little League while Troy was coaching high school as they were growing up. He'd help out when he could.
So it really has been a family affair for the Hogues, and potentially in 2 years, when Erica, as an 8th grader, could have 3 Hogue sisters on the squad. That would be Michaela's senior year.
He was excited about that. I don't know if it's just that opportunity all 3 kids could play together, or just Erica really being on the team, getting to learn from both of her older sisters.
Good to go. Good to go.
Check swing called strike 3, and that's number 13. So Hunt goes down swinging. That's as close as it gets on the check swing.
Good heads-up play there from the catcher to ask umpire.
Down at third, Terry Giuffretti makes the call. Slap right side goes foul for Deny. Sammy Deny 0 for 2. Going back to Coach Hogue for Collins-Maxwell. Played baseball at Esterville growing up. There's a slap into right side of the infield. Nice defensive play made by Pasquarello. And it's 3 up, 3 down. Once again, we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Collins-Maxwell, an opportunity to win it in regulation when we return.
The Iowa Broadcast News Association has recognized Iowa Public Television for excellence with awards in multiple categories. Market to Market for features about farm and agribusiness, and in-depth series. IPTV sports coverage of Girls Championship Softball for sports play-by-play. Quality local programming from Iowa's only statewide network.
IPTV Passport offers more than 1,000 hours of your favorite PBS shows on demand, anytime, anywhere. Shows like Downton Abbey, Masterpiece, The Great British Baking Show, Rick Steves Europe, Nova, and so much more. Simply donate at least $5 monthly ongoing or $60 each year and start watching today. With IPTV Passport, you can catch up on old favorites or binge on new releases whenever you want.
A few dark clouds lurking here in Fort Dodge. The pitchers throwing dark ones themselves here all game, as tonight's game brought to you by the letter K. Strikeout after strikeout. 13 for Hogue and 10 for Barrick. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Slap to shallow right field, and that outfield is shifted in. That's Alyssa Hames that was playing just outside of the grass, and it's a leadoff single. Breaks up Barrick's no-hit bid here in the 7th inning.
Well, and the good news for Collins-Maxwell is if you don't get a base runner in the first 6 innings, that means you've got the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 7th. Exactly who you'd want to be in that situation with the chance to win it.
The 8th grader Alexis Hogue on the move. Now she's going to head to third. And they've got the potential winning run 60 feet away.
On any kind of bobble, Alexis Hogue is going to take the open base in yesterday's semifinal action. We'll take a look at this replay here. She was going on the pitch. Ball gets away, as I said. She reads it well. And in yesterday's semifinal action, she got a hit late in the game. Rounded second a little, or excuse me, rounded first, probably a little aggressively.
Make sure we get it down. You make sure, if you don't get caught on a fake throw or anything. If they throw through and you can't get there, wait, we'll get her up as well. We can drive it in, okay? Just make sure we execute, get it down here. If they don't throw at you, you're on. Keep on going to second base, all right? Just keep on going. If they throw, we'll get in the pickle, we'll figure it out, okay? You just do what you've done all year. Be smart here. Make sure the play's there. I just need you to get it on the ground, okay? On the ground. That's all I need. And then we'll see what they do with it and go from there. You just hustle that out, okay? They're way up here. They don't come over here very well to cover, so you can get a big lead. Just make sure you don't cut on fake, okay? That's the only thing we got to worry about, all right? Right here. Here we go. Let's have some fun here. Here we go.
And chatting with Coach Hogue after his daughter and leadoff hitter was picked off, he said, I'm okay with that. She is great at stealing bases. She's very aggressive. I'd much rather have her be aggressive than passive. And that's a good example of how it can pay off, as we just saw, advancing to third on the errant throw.
So Camp at the plate, an opportunity for Collins-Maxwell to win it. Called strike on the bunt attempt. One ball, one strike here on the batter, Katie Camp. Bunt attempt goes into the fence behind the catcher. And now 2 strikes for Katie Camp.
Look at the determination out of the senior. She needs to get a bat on the ball.
Katie Camp, the control she has with the bat, may try and lay another one down again or slap one through the infield here. Lays it down right in front of home plate and is just going to hold on to it. Winterberg wisely just picked it up and held on to it. So that'll be a infield hit for Camp. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And I would anticipate here that Camp would advance to second here on the pitch. See if you can maybe force the Cougars into some sort of defensive decision, but at the same point, I don't anticipate that the Cougars would risk anything too much on the defensive end. Maybe play it safe. And they do. Won't even throw down to the stealing Camp.
So Camp advancing really just takes away one more option for the AGWSR defense with nobody out. The winning run on third for Collins-Maxwell. Hogue slaps it to the shortstop. Going to be a play at the plate. And out at home is the call. Alexis Hogue thought she was underneath it. Troy Hogue thought she was safe. Out at home is the call. Musino made the throw. It was high. Gerbrack made the catch and put the tag on.
Well, in this situation, we're going to have a replay of it here. Throw is a little high.
Time. 3 courtesy for 5. Thank you.
I think he's got a point, but we don't have replay in high school softball. So if you're Hannah Capel and you're Troy Hogue, you got to forget about that. You're in a great situation here. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. You still have every opportunity to win this game.
Heads up play by Michaela Hogue to get to second. So Camp's at third, Hogue's at second. You're right, you've got the courtesy runner out there. Trinity Stover, the sophomore's at second base now for Michaela Hogue. Hannah Capel to the plate. The junior catcher tries to bunt home the winning run. It rolls foul. And back to the plate she'll go.
I like the aggressive play calling there by head coach Hogue. Suicide squeeze here with 1 out. We're going to talk it over.
Yeah, simple sacrifice would.
You think you can slug and get one through, on the ground through somewhere? Or would you rather try and suicide again? The problem is with 0-1, she might try and get out of the zone.
Yeah, I'll do a slug.
Okay, do a slug. If it's not a strike, let it go, okay? Hey, you've been good here all along. The only thing is their second baseman's got their strong zone. If we can get over here, you just got to read it and get in there, okay? Here we go. Do it, kid.
Game playing against the defense as well with Cooper over at second base, knowing she's got a strong arm. If Capel tries to slap it, Camp will have to read it. She's the runner at third. Foul tip for strike 2. And Barrick, meanwhile, in the circle with 10 strikeouts. There's a drive into center field, and that's down for a base hit, and the winning run comes in for Collins-Maxwell, the Spartans, your 1A champions.
Nice job, hey.
Hannah Capel, the junior, drives in Katie Camp, the senior. And we finally have a run scored.
And no controversy on that one. A well-hit ball right up the pipe, easily allowing Camp to score from third. Great bounce back by Capel in that situation. A little bit of maybe a controversial bang-bang play right before she heads up there. Her coach is not pleased, and she goes up there and gets the job done.
When you tip your cap to Taryn Barrick, faced the minimum 18 batters through 6 innings. But it was Collins-Maxwell able to put together 3 hits out of their first 4 batters here in the bottom of the 7th inning to win the 1A state championship game in their first year as Collins-Maxwell.
Presenting the Class 1A All-Tournament Team medals is Gene Berger, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Your Class 1A All-Tournament team as selected by the Iowa Girls Coaches Association. From Collins-Maxwell, Hannah Capel. From AGWSR, McKenna Cooper. From Janesville, Kennedy Meister. From Lisbon, Skylar Sadler. From Lisbon, Madeline Morningstar. From Akron Westfield, Kiana Apley. From Akron Westfield, Danica Smith. From Collins-Maxwell, Alexis Hogue. From AGWSR, Rachel Sykard. From AGWSR, Taryn Barrick. And your Class 1A All-Tournament Team Captain, from Collins-Maxwell, Michaela Hogue.
There's your all-tournament team, and no doubt about it, Michaela Hogue has helped Collins-Maxwell to a state championship game. They have not allowed a single run in any of the 3 state tournament games here in 2018, and a thrilling 1-0 win in 7 innings for Collins-Maxwell. Just allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts tonight. Had 2 hit batsmen. And now 28-1 on the season for Michaela Hogue, and she finishes state champion and captain of the all-tournament team.
In addition to receiving medallions, every participating player will receive a commemorative softball provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards is a member of the IGHSAU Board of Directors, Mr. Roger Francis. Congratulations to the runners-up in Class 1A, head coaches Brenda Drake and Scott O'Brien, and the AGWSR Cougars on an outstanding 2018 softball season. And your 2018 Class 1A State Softball Champions, head coach Troy Hogue and the Spartans from Collins-Maxwell.
There's a look at your Class 1A championships. Molly, a 1-0 thriller, came down to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, not surprising that it was the top of the lineup that got the job done for the Spartans, and these 2 teams really set the bar high. The first of 5 state championship games tonight and tomorrow. Congratulations to both of these squads. Great game, great entertainment.
Hannah Capel drives in. Katie Camp, the senior, scores the winning run. Collins-Maxwell, the Spartans, your 1A champions. As we're just getting started, the Class 2A game is coming up in just a little bit. Will it be another pitcher's duel? We will find out right here on Iowa Public Television.
Funding for the Iowa Girls High School Softball Championships is provided by
The path to greatness starts early. The Iowa Farm Bureau believes in Iowa's youth and their pursuit of greatness. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Each student's effort is important, and when one rises, we all rise to a better Iowa.
Fairway, along with Nabisco, Frito-Lay, and Sara Lee, is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls Sports Championships. We congratulate all the schools and student athletes participating in this year's Girls High School State Softball Championships. Fairway, proud to care for the places we work and live. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.